around. And as I got older in high school, a friend of mine, his name's George Brewstar, he turned me on to a lot of things, opened my mind. I thought he was crazy at first. I said, whatever. And then once he started, why don't you check this out? And then I got to question a lot of things. Brought up a lot of good ideas about government, what their powers are, what our rights are, how much freedoms we're giving up. So basically what I want to briefly talk about today is, I want to touch on a touch of history, who are the puppet masters here, and then bitch a little bit about the government. Not too much, but I want to get more into the solutions. That's more important. We can bitch all we want, but until we take action, make solutions, that's where we're at. So basically, our rights have been taken. In today's day, last week at the rally down there, the protest down in Philly, they kept talking about, the guys here 200 years ago, almost 244 years ago, 1776. This is a Sixer shirt. It's the year I was born, not 1776, 1976. And I'm a big basketball fan, but it just went together with tonight's theme. Those people, if they were living today, they wouldn't be doing these nice little protests. That wouldn't be happening. Something else would be going on. Hopefully we would never have to get to that point. But we can touch on it later. However, those guys, they were brilliant beyond their years. Most people wouldn't know that. You're talking Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, James Madison, all those guys. They weren't perfect human beings. They had their own little issues. But they got away from a tyrannical government, which at that time was one of the more tyrannical governments in history, the British Empire. And they said enough's enough. They had a breaking point, and they came up with this Constitution. And in what they say in these, in the Constitution, these rights are unalienable, or basically given to you by your Creator. But as your higher power, God, I don't know what direction you want to go there. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't come from the government. The government's job is to protect your rights against those forces, foreign and domestic. That means right here. There's tyrants right here in this country. People think it's always from the outside. No. It's right here, right now. It's local, state, it's national, across the board. And, people always say, like, well, I do what the government says, I don't want to get in trouble, blah, blah, blah. Well, who are these people? Like, who exactly are these people? Where do they come from? Like, what makes them think that they could play God with our lives? I don't want them playing God with my life, okay? I want to make decisions for myself. I'm just naturally competitive. I'm into sports, everything like that. I fought a lot when I was a kid. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, whatever. So I just had it in me, and I don't think these people, you got Facebook and all these news sources fact-checking people. If you post something positive about damn vaccines or what, fact check says this is unreliable. Well, who's fact-checking the fact-checkers? Is what I'm saying. Who's doing that? So these people, these elite, powerful, rich people a lot of times think it's the government. It's the people above the government who get these elite rich people. It's not the 1%. Don't get caught up on the 1%. It's not even close to the 1%. It's the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. 1/10,000% or something. It's even probably higher than that. They're the one pulling strings. They own all the horses in the race. They try to get all these people involved. They have all their horses running. So no matter who wins, they still win. They still collect. And how do we break that chain? We got to get people voting at the national level. In my opinion, just my opinion. I don't want to talk too much politics, but voting at the national level doesn't. It's almost impossible to make any kind of real change. You got to start grassroots, I believe. Start local, and you build out from there. But again, back to these people who want to play gods with our lives. There are watchers. They watch over us. But my question is, who watches the watchers? Who fact checks the fact checkers? And those people 244 years ago, all the Constitution guys, they realized throughout history, you can look back at people think it's crazy that they think there's this tyrannical. Nah, they're not in your face killing and shooting people. They're doing it a little bit more subtle way. Throughout history, there's always people who go after power. Once they get wealthy enough, they want to get power. And they want to control people's lives. Now, some of them do it for good reasons, because some of them were very successful. They think, hey, I'm successful, I can teach, I can show the way. I know best. But to a certain degree, I agree with that a little bit, but too much, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's the truest thing. It's more addictive than any drug in the world is power. And once they get a taste of that, even well-meaning people, once they get a taste of that, they don't like giving it up. So what we can do, I don't trust almost anything at the national level. So the solutions would be, what do we do as a people? Us coming out, who knows? We're not going to say the number of people. There's a good amount of people here. Little things like this, and then taking action. You get involved at the local level. Local elections, you can start there. You got the sheriffs. And this is just my special announcement. I found about this last night, but I wanted to do more research on this and get more into it, but I hit a damn deer last night and deal with my car all night till 5 in the morning.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it was bad. And down there.
At least you're alright, dude.
Deer kind of, well, we kind of like met at the same point, So this is a statement from Lancaster County Sheriff. Our hearts and prayers are with those who have suffered from the loss of someone due to COVID-19 virus. Likewise, our hearts and prayers go out to those who have suffered financially from the quarantine orders. When taking a drastic step such as a quarantine, there must be a balance between public safety, as directed by the government, and the rights of the people. An action of the government, such as quarantine, takes decision making away from the individual. It should be extremely rare and limited. Our United States Constitution and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania recognize individual freedom and liberties and weigh heavily in favor of the rights of the individual citizen. In recognition of this, our office will stand in defense of the individual rights of the citizens. Our office will not be enforcing any edicts from the governor's office as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic. We are a government for the people, by the people. We believe that each person should exercise and bear personal responsibility in the best interests of themselves, their families, friends, and employees, and it is they, not the centralized government, who should make those decisions. May God bless the United States of America, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and each one of you. Sheriff Chris Lepler. So,
Is that from Montgomery County too, or just for?
That was just Lancaster County.
Right.
But he's one guy. We can get, I think it's Kilkenny here in Montgomery. You get a group, all of a sudden, what's the state, what they're going to do? I mean, that's what we got. I don't know enough about the sheriff's role, how much power they have with the state and the national, but they have a good amount of power from what I understand. And we all need to research that a little bit more and bring that down to people we know. But, as far as COVID goes, what we have here is a virus. When it first came out, I was like, you know what, a little shutdown just until we know what we're working with. Let me see what's going on here. Then after a while, all the evidence started coming out. I didn't buy any of it. Most people don't know that in third world nations, there's people starving to death. Mm-hmm. They don't talk about that death toll. They don't have that on CNN, death count, case count. I'm in the recovery field, so what? I'm a recovering alcoholic, okay? I met people in rehabs that are now dead. They OD'd, they drank themselves to death through this COVID. Because one thing we did learn about this whole COVID shutdown is there's an essential need of humans. That's human contact. Humans can't survive without human contact. I don't give a damn what anybody says. That's essential. I don't care what they say it's essential. I say it's essential, and everybody else says it's essential. They shut down recovery meetings, AA meetings, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. They shut all that down for people, and people couldn't. They said, "Oh, do the Zoom." Zoom, it has its place, but it's nothing like being in person. And a lot of people were ODing, dying. The rates of the rehabs are going off the charts, and people, I know trashmen. They said, you look at everybody's recycling in the neighborhoods, it's piled with cans and bottles of liquor everywhere they go. And the alcoholism and the drug use is going off the charts. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not no medical expert. You got this, you got the Bill Gates, Fauci. People think you're conspiracy, but those guys, they have an agenda, which who knows? I don't want to get too deep into that, but I don't trust them one bit.